Hi, welcome again to our countdown to a new day of hope. Hope you've been joining us day by day as we've been going back to that first Easter week, the build up to the hope that comes on Easter Sunday. Well, we're now looking at Friday. It was called Good Friday. I could never get my head around that, knowing that that ended with Jesus dying a cruel death on a cross. The trial that he went through, well, that was completely rigged. None of the evidence stacked up at all. Bottom line, people didn't really want to accept or believe that he was who he said he was. People, of course, still today don't really like to acknowledge or admit or believe that, because, well, if you do, suddenly you've got to actually do something about your life, and people don't like change and they want to be in charge themselves. Well, what happened on that Good Friday? Well, following the betrayal that Jesus went through of a friend, there was then the interrogation by Pilate, who was kind of curious, but he was afraid of the people and what other people would be thinking. Bit of a people pleaser. He was then interrogated by Herod. Well, he was just wanted to really be in it for the showbiz stuff. He wanted to see the tricks, the miracles or the magic, and that was it really. And again, maybe people today can be a little bit like that, you know, prove that you're God, prove that this is real, and then maybe I'll believe. Well, that's hardly faith. It's the Christian faith, not the Christian fact. Well, then before you know it, the crowds are all shouting, "Crucify him, crucify him." That must have been a deafening noise. No idea why that really was when you think about all the lives he touched and the people that he changed. But that was the reality of it. And not before long, he was there in the hands of cruel Roman guards, soldiers, hurling insults at him, putting this fake robe upon him, shoving a crown of thorns into his head. There was then all these, the Roman lashings, which the whips would have been made with jagged bone and stone protruding and jutting out of them, so that would have been incredibly painful. There would have been a trail of blood that he left even before he got to the scene of the cross. I don't know what the track was like that people would have taken. I mean, here I am taking a local walk up now to a track. I don't know what it would have been like to have been on that walk, that journey, with everybody up to the place of the skull where there was the three crosses, Jesus being on the central one. And of course, ultimately, he was nailed there. We're not talking about B&Q nails now, we're talking about nails that were the size of a ruler. And they would have been hammered in through his wrists to keep him there, and his feet. Those arms that were open from the nails, though, were arms that were there open, that are still open, out of love. And yet, despite the pain and the agony and the suffering, and if you want to know a little bit more about that, I suggest you watch the Mel Gibson movie, The Passion of the Christ. Despite all of that stuff, there was Jesus uttering what words from the cross? "Father, forgive them, they know not what they do." Wow. Well, the true calibre or test or integrity of any human being is what we're like really under immense and intense suffering. Jesus still loved. Indeed, the Roman centurion that was there that saw him die that cruel death, and he would have seen such a scene countless times. But his testimony was, surely this has to be the Son of God. That's the crux of the matter. Who do we actually think this Jesus is? But then again, if he was the Son of God, why didn't he just come down from the cross? Like I said, it wasn't the nails that kept him there. It was his love, God's love. The most well-known verse in the Bible, John chapter 3, verse 16, says that God so loved the world that whoever believes in him should not perish but would have everlasting life. Wow. I guess at the end of the day, when Jesus then breathed his last and utters those three words, "It is finished," what he meant by that was not that it was a cry of defeat, but that everything that was needed to secure your salvation and mine had been achieved. The only thing left was what we would do with it. And that's the question that each of us need to answer. Well, it may well be Friday, but chin up, Sunday's coming.